We're going to go ahead and just do a little bit of practice. I usually do something like this with my students. I'm going to do it with you. We're going to try to have just a basic conversation. I'm going to ask a question, and you're going to try to respond with a complete sentence. You're going to try to respond with a complete sentence. You're not just going to say yes or no, but with an actual subject, the yo, the tú, the él, one of those, and then a verb conjugated. So my first question for you is, ¿tú hablas inglés? ¿Tú hablas inglés? That's my question for you. ¿Tú hablas inglés? Pause the video and let's see if you can answer that question. Inglés means English. Inglés means English. If you want to be able to see how some of these vocab words are written, you can look up on any dictionary English just to see how it's written. But for now, inglés means English. ¿Tú hablas inglés? Pause the video and let's see if you can answer that question correctly. Well, how did you do? ¿Tú hablas inglés? I'm asking you, kind of literally, you speak English? You speak English? You speak English? But in English, we would say, do you speak English? Don't get worried about that do. That's just something we do in English when we ask questions. For some reason, we add a do or a does. But that's what I'm asking you. Do you speak English? And so your answer back should be something like, I speak English. Don't even worry about the yes, see is yes. Don't even worry about that for now. You should say, I speak English. Assuming you do speak English, most likely, I speak English. And so, yo hablo, there's the I speak right there. Yo hablo inglés. That's what you should have said. ¿Tú hablas inglés? The answer, yo hablo inglés. Next question. ¿Tú hablas inglés todos los días? ¿Tú hablas inglés todos los días? Pause the video. Todos los días, that means every day. Every day. I'm just adding that word in there. Pause the video. Say the answer out loud. Let's see if you can do it. How did you do? Your answer should be most likely, yo hablo inglés todos los días. I'm asking you, do you speak English every day? Assuming you do, I speak English every day. Yo hablo, there's the I speak, and then inglés todos los días. You start to see how the verb, the subject, and the verb conjugated, that's the base of all these sentences. We can add all kinds of vocab words like inglés and todos los días, but it all comes down to being able to conjugate the verb. Okay, let me ask you another question. ¿Tu mamá habla inglés? ¿Tu mamá habla inglés? Pause the video. Let's see if you can figure out what that question means and if you can answer it. Well, how did you do? ¿Tu mamá habla inglés? What am I asking you? Does your mom speak English? Does your mom speak English? Tu mamá is your mom. To be able to say my mom, it's mi mamá, mi mamá. So then, assuming that your mom speaks English, you should have said something like, mi mamá habla inglés. So now the conjugation you're using to respond is habla, the A ending there, because we're talking about she. Your mom, mi mamá, is she. And so that's the conjugation we're responding with now. You could also have said something like, ella habla inglés. She speaks English. Okay, let's do another question. ¿Tú comes todos los días? ¿Tú comes todos los días? Pause the video. Let's see if you can figure out what that question means and answer the question. How did you do? ¿Tú comes todos los días? I'm asking you, do you eat every day? You should have said something like, assuming you eat every day, I'm sure you do. Yo como todos los días. Yo como todos los días. I eat every day. I eat every day. Let me ask you another question. ¿Tú comes McDonald's? ¿Tú comes McDonald's? Pause the video. Let's see if you can answer that question. How did you do? What did I ask you? ¿Tú comes McDonald's? I'm asking you, do you eat McDonald's? I didn't say every day at the end there. I'm just asking, do you eat McDonald's? And maybe you said, I eat McDonald's. Yo como McDonald's. Yo como McDonald's. Maybe you said you don't eat McDonald's. Maybe you're one of those who are too good for McDonald's. Then you could say something like, Yo no como McDonald's. Yo no como McDonald's. So whenever you want to say a sentence in the negative, saying you don't do something, you just have to remember to put the word no right in front of the verb. Yo no como McDonald's. You have to put the no right in front of the verb. Sometimes when you're answering a question, you can say something like, No, I don't eat McDonald's. And so in that case, it would be something like, No, yo no como McDonald's. You're saying the no twice. You can do that when you're answering a question, that first no. But the main no corresponds to don't in this sentence. And that no that corresponds to don't has to be used. So if you're going to use two no's, that would be the second one. Whatever you do, that second no, or if you're only going to use one no, whatever you do, that one of the no's has to go right in front of the verb. In this case, como. So you could say yo no como McDonald's and just leave it at that. That would be I don't eat McDonald's. Or you could say no, yo no como McDonald's. And that would be like no, I don't eat McDonald's. Let's go ahead and do one last question so we can work with the IR verbs. My question for you is, ¿Dónde vives? ¿Dónde vives? ¿Dónde vives? Pause the video. Let's see if you can answer that question. How did you do? ¿Dónde means where. So literally, where you live. Where you live. In English, we say, where do you live? How did you answer that question? I live in, most people forget the in, I live in the United States, maybe. I live in the United States. So how do we say I live? It's right there on the board. Yo vivo. Yo vivo en. En is in. En in English. En in Spanish. Yo vivo en Estados Unidos, the United States. Yo vivo en Estados Unidos.